That's what you've been wanting?
Welcome back to Did You Eat Yet? I'm Victor, and I'm going to be exploring Oakland's Little Saigon and the nearby area today. Growing up, I thought this Eastlake area was just an extension of Chinatown, as there's so many Asian businesses here that my parents would take us to grocery shop or to pick up food. I don't know the full history of the relationship between Chinese and Vietnamese immigrants in the Bay Area, but I grew up with a lot of Chinese Vietnamese American friends here, some who were able to speak both languages and were accustomed to both cultures. Because of that, I've always felt super comfortable around Vietnamese establishments and the people, even though I can't speak a lick of the language. There's over 8,000 Vietnamese identifying people living in Oakland, mostly in this area, and it wasn't until 2019 that local business owners lobbied for the city of Oakland to officially recognize this area as Little Saigon, which many major cities with big Vietnamese American communities have done as well. My mom worked not too far from here, so on the way back from school, we would always make a stop in the area to grab some food first. This area of Oakland is super important, and a lot of these businesses have been around for the majority of my life, if not even longer. And I'm going to share some of the stories I have with them. We're going to start with Bui Phong Bakery today, just a few minutes east from the central Little Saigon area, but has many ties to its businesses. Bui Phong Bakery is a Bay Area icon when it comes to their bread. A family-run business since the 80s, they've been low-key responsible for being an integral part of some of the best sandwiches you can get in Oakland. Have you had a Bun Me before in the Bay? That's probably a rhetorical question for a lot of you. But they probably made that bread for your favorite spot, and they've been doing so for decades now. This is Stanley, a friend I met a while back, and his grandfather started the original location in 1983, and opened this Oakland location up a few years after that. The bakers get here in the middle of the night to get all the goods ready in time for deliveries in the early morning hours. The staples that businesses and locals buy from Bui Phong are the baguettes, croissants, and the French rolls. Their croissants are incredible, super fluffy, buttery, soft, and flaky. The baguettes are essentially just larger versions of the French rolls, so I'm going to talk specifically about these French rolls some more. These are quintessential. The best banh mi spots in the Bay all use them. And it's not just the Vietnamese spots using these rolls for their banh mi. Mexican businesses use these same rolls as their bolillos for their tortas too. Hit up a Hispanic market in Oakland and you'll see some Bui Phong baked goods in their bread aisles. When we talk about Oakland as a melting pot of culture, this is a prime example of that. Crazy thing is I've been unknowingly eating Bui Phong's bread way before than I originally thought I did. While talking to my mom, I found out she had a friend that used to work at Bui Phong when we were little, so we always had a bag of these French rolls or baguettes to take home every week. A bite of their bread is always nostalgic for me, and I'm sure a lot of you have unknowingly had their bread before too, just from eating banh mi's or tortas around the Bay. Shout out to Stanley and his family for giving me a quick tour of the bakery. Stop by and grab some bread and some merch next time you're in the area. Just a few blocks away is Bun Me Ba, my favorite banh mi in the town. Located on the corner of International, this little shop serves up a huge menu of different banh mi's, as well as a ton of other Vietnamese snacks and drinks. Whether you're craving some cold cuts, grilled pork, or any other meats or veggie options, they've got something for you. If you've never had a banh mi before, it's a Vietnamese sandwich made with a baguette, typically filled with meats, mayo, pate, topped with pickled vegetables and cucumbers, and more. Since the pandemic, the hours have changed dramatically, and the inside seating is gone now. I usually always call ahead and just pick it up, but the lines generally move pretty quickly. With the seating gone now, I took it home to enjoy, and here's a spread of our banh mi's. My go-to order is always the number 2 special combo, and I'll add meatballs to that. The combination of the cold cuts, pate, and everything else inside that fresh, crunchy French roll is pure bliss for me. It's a perfect sandwich, and I'm literally shaking my head in disbelief every time I eat this. I also always order the grilled pork with lemongrass. Growing up as a kid, this was my go-to order, but the cold cuts and pate became the favorite as I got a little older. My wife also got the meatball and egg, and that egg always adds an extra oomph to that sandwich. I always eat 2 banh mi's in one sitting. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm never satisfied with just one sandwich. These are just too damn good and I always want more. Ballet is only open on the weekends now, so if you haven't had a good banh mi in a while, you know you can find one here. I didn't try Pho Ga for the first time in my life till a little bit later, and this was the first spot I'd ever gotten it before. Pho Ga Hong Koi Cafe is a long-time Pho Ga spot and has been here for decades now. Pho Ga is a chicken noodle soup, and this spot specializes in them. With a few different chicken options, you get to choose your noodle options as well. My usual order is a shredded chicken meat pho with the ho fun noodles. Brandon got the chicken bone-in pho with ho fun as well. It's a super clean and flavorful soup with really good chicken and noodles. Over the pandemic, I attempted to make pho at home a lot. It's super easy to make at home and comes out really good, but still doesn't compare to this spot. If you've never had pho before, check this spot out for an Oakland Little Saigon staple. Pho Ao Sen is a really popular, iconic Oakland pho spot. If I'm craving pho, this has been my go-to for the past decade now, and I've probably had more pho from Ao Sen than any other spot in the Bay. With a pretty big menu, I know that I'll enjoy anything that I order here. But generally when I'm at Ao Sen, I'm getting their beef combination pho and some nem nong rolls to split with the table. Nem nong rolls might be one of my favorite food items of all time, so if they got it on the menu, I'm gonna order it. Their pho is always great. The broth is always just perfect for my taste, and the ratio of noodles to beef and all the other toppings always just seem right for me too. The nem nong rolls are always great too, and the thick sauce it comes with is one of my favorite sauces ever. The house-made XO sauce Ao Sen has is great too, bringing the bowl of pho even more richness and flavor with a tiny kick of spice. There's no way to count the amount of times I've hit up Ao Sen, mostly hungover, and it's always helped me recover after a night out. Even though I live in the East Bay now, I'll always make the trip out to Pho Ao Sen for my bowl of pho. There are a plethora of classic pho spots in this area, and I don't know if you can really go wrong with any of them. While I haven't tried all of them, there's a few of these spots I've eaten at a number of times. Pho King has been one of the more long-standing staples in the area. There's a newer location a few blocks away from the original location now. The pho here is always great, and there's a huge menu, exploring Vietnamese cuisine. Pho Ho Lao was the first pho spot my mom ever took me to when I was young, and pho has always been one of my favorite comfort meals since. Tan Ki is another staple noodle house in Oakland, serving up Chinese Vietnamese dishes, with a focus on noodle soups. Locals always like to compare Tan Ki and VH, and everyone from the area always has a preference for one or the other. I do enjoy both though, and Tan Ki has an option to add in some delicious fried pork rinds into your noodle soup too. I get the same order every time, the house special ho fun with extra pork rinds. This bowl of noodles hits every time. I couldn't do a Little Saigon video without making a stop at Gamerang. Gamerang is a Vietnamese restaurant that's been around since the 80s. The Chinatown location closed a few years back, but the bigger location on International is still around, and has been consistently putting out some of the best Vietnamese food, drinks, and snacks in Oakland. I used to hit up the Oakland Chinatown location weekly for lunch, grabbing their Bun Me's, fried rice with that chicken leg, or their chow fun. Since the pandemic, Gamerang has been takeout only, so I ordered some of my old usuals to take home for lunch. The fried rice with the chicken leg is just as good as I remember it being. Such a nostalgic takeout lunch that I used to order all the time. I also got the combo Bun Me too. Delicious. Great stuff. If you're craving Vietnamese takeout, this is the spot for you. This wraps up my Oakland Little Saigon area tour, and there's a ton of other spots in the area that I love that I couldn't fit into this episode. I probably used the word staple or iconic way too many times in this video, but I don't think there's any other way to describe these different businesses in the area. A lot of them have been around for longer than I've been alive, and there's a reason for that. And I hope they all continue to serve the community out here. The last few years have been rough for the area, but we can all do our parts for now by supporting these restaurants to ensure that they can all stay around. I hope all these spots are around for the next generation as well, so more stories can be told about Little Saigon in the future. Thanks for watching, and we have one more episode left in this first collection of Did You Eat Yet? Merch updates will be coming soon too. See y'all next time. Peace.